Breathe.
Hi, this is Raph from Broken Earth. We've just put out a new single, Breathe. It's available on all streaming services. Check it out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. We're really proud of how it's gone, and we'd love to know how you guys feel about it. With me is Kris, man. How you going?
Good, brother. Good, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, yeah. So, as you say, man, Broken Earth recently released your new single, Breathe. So, how's the early reception been for it?
Man, it's been pretty insane, not gonna lie. We got, I think, something like almost, I think, or no, actually about 10K views on the YouTube video alone in like a day, which is kind of nuts for us because we've never had that sort of like attention before. We just played a headliner in Tamworth a couple weeks ago as our first sort of run through of Breathe, and that sold out the day before, which is pretty nuts. I'm actually talking to a few hours before we play our headliner in Canberra tonight, which is pretty cool. It's a free entry, so it's kind of like I don't know if you've ever been to Frankie's in Sydney, Kris, but it's a bit like that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, man, I miss it so much, dude. It was such a staple. But yeah, it's kind of the same sort of vibe here tonight, and then we'll be capping it off with a fun little headliner in Sydney on June 16th. Can't wait for that one. Tickets are starting to move fast. We're pretty stoked on how it's gone so far. Something that's actually been really surprising this time around for us has been the actual engagement and community response. Because before, we've gotten the radio play or whatever, we've gotten this or that or the other thing, and that's all really cool. We love that. It didn't really seem to grab at that time around, but that's cool, man. What actually surprised me was how many more people, like human beings, messaged us, hit us up, talked to us about the song and what it meant to them. And to be quite honest with you, Kris, we're a little bit humbled and kind of blown away by how much it's connected so far, man. It's definitely been quite rewarding in that regards. In regards to
of the song, man, so you deserve every verse you're getting with it.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah, it's definitely one of our favorites to play live. It was our opening song for about a year last year while we were, working on it with Mark in the studio and waiting to get mixes back and all that. But to have it finally out is such a, I hate to say it was a bit of a breath of fresh air. I hate the pun, but it just feels like such a release to finally have it out there and have people connect with it in a way in which they can listen to it whenever they want. It's always such a rewarding feeling, man.
My oath it is, bro. So tell us a bit more about Breathe from a musical point of view, mate, and what you're going for with it.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Kris. So it actually started out live. Funnily enough, I'd just seen Tenet. Do you remember Tenet, the Christopher Nolan movie? So I've just seen that in the movies back in 2019, I believe. And I'd gotten home and I'd written this really sick synth line, but it just it never really connected. And I think it actually had the most amount of rewrites out of everything that we're actually releasing this year. Oops, giving that away already. It had the most amount of rewrites for any song we had. And what happened was I kept wanting to put like a sing-along chorus into it. And it just wasn't connecting, man, for some reason. Like our drummer Seb actually came to me and he was like, hey dude, like you're really vocally, you're really aggressive in the verses, but whenever we go to this chorus, the vibe just dips down straight away. I know you love your sing-along choruses, man, but I don't know if it's going to work this time. And I'm like, you know what, dude? Let's go for it. And so, about a week before we were supposed to record with Mark, we actually rewrote basically the entire chorus. And then when we got into the studio with Mark, he actually helped us rewrite a bit of it as well, just to give it that final touch and give it that extra edge. But it's actually crazy. It's actually the first song that we're putting out, and it sounds very organic and very just balls to the wall. But it was actually probably the most obsessed over and refined song out of the lot, to be honest. And it came from a place, Kris, of extreme frustration and reflection on a really toxic part of my life back when I was, say, 16 through to 21, where I had quite a very close friend who was a bit older, come into my life after a rough breakup. And he was sort of like a guiding figure for me. It was a bit of like a mentor. And as I started to gain a bit of confidence and gain a bit of that, self-sustainability, self-power, he started to basically turn everyone around against me, including people of the band I was in at the time. One of which is still in the band today, guitarist Ben. And he remembers it so clearly, of this guy basically turning it from, a really positive friendship into something where every week, for some reason, I was the enemy. And it made me realize afterwards how, because basically I cut ties at the end of 2017, start of 2018, and basically I thought I was fine. I thought I'd gotten over it, but I realized afterwards that I actually started perpetuating that cycle myself. So really it was on reflection, when I was writing the lyrics last year, I realized that that's such an addiction, is that self-belief that you're always the victim and everybody else is the enemy, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And that in turn actually makes you the villain. And I just kind of wrote from the aspect of I'm sick of this narrative. I'm sick of perpetuating this cycle. I just want to lash out, break free, and just empower myself and anyone else who listens to the song. It's almost, and that's why we kind of start with it in the set even now. It's because it's almost it's a tone setter of just no BS. That's kind of at the core of it. That's what the song's about. It's just no BS. Be who you are. Don't mess with other people because you're afraid of yourself. Don't mess with other people because you yourself are lacking your own self-belief, which is really at the crux of it, what it was really all about at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was very cool. And the press release says that our Breathe showcases the band's sonic evolution. So can you elaborate on that point for us?
Yeah, that's a really cool fact. I don't think we were in charge of that part of it. That was definitely Ophelia being very kind to us. I agree, man. Look, we've gone through a lot of different changes over the past couple years. We've gone through a few lineup changes, and within each lineup change, we've re-honed and refocused our sound. Because as I'm sure you may be aware, with everyone that comes in and out of a creative project of individuals, their input always changes things. And what we wanted to get out of this song was more of a concentrated effort of previous songs like Black Skies, where we've gone for that thrash, mosh kind of vibe, just angry. But we wanted it to be more laser focused and more, I'd say, polished, if that makes sense. We wanted to basically take what we'd done before and hone it in to its absolute accuracy, almost as if you kind of, instead of thrashing about with a machine gun, you're taking people out with a sniper rifle. I know it's a really weird metaphor, but that's just what immediately comes to mind for me.
That'll do. So is Breathe actually a standalone single, bro, or is it part of a bigger album picture?
Breathe, without giving too much away, it's part of a larger world that we're building, but as of right now, there is no EP in the works. We are just going to see where the I'd say tide takes us, and go
go from there. But I can confidently say this is not the last time you'll hear from us this year. Absolutely not.
I'm not going to push you any further, mate, because you sound like you ain't going to tell me jack shit.
Oh, look, man, if I gave it all away, it would ruin the surprise,
That's
wouldn't it?
Exactly right, mate. Exactly right. Got to keep the mystery there somewhere.
Yeah, man. You get me. You get
yeah. We sort of touched on this a bit before, bro, but I want to go into a little bit more detail. Like, Broken Earth headline Tamworth's heavy music night at the Press Basement Bar recently, but there's a bit of an interesting story behind that show, mate. So can you fill us in?
Oh, I love that you brought that up. Yeah, really, really crazy story. So, yonks ago, at the start of the year, while we were reforming with our new member Brad and going through all that, Jack from Traces, who basically single-handedly runs the metal scene down in Tamworth, that man does not get enough credit. Basically, he hit me up being like, hey, so we really liked when you guys played last time with my band, Traces. Would you guys be keen to headline? And at the time, I was like, yeah, sure, man, just give me a date. And he was like, May, I can't even remember the date now. It was a few weeks ago. I'm really bad with dates. I do apologize. But essentially, he was May 6th. I think, yeah, May 6th. He just threw out May 6th, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes. Should be good though. We'll do the headliner. And as we were leading up to the release of Breathe, it turns out it panned out with Breathe. So we were like, okay, we'll make it a release show. That's cool. But on the Tamworth side of things, basically, what we didn't know was going down until Jack filled us in, and then all this stuff came out was that. This whole time, over the past, I'd say, I think 10 years at least, basically venues have been forced by the Tamworth Council to raise insurance prices by double if a metal band or, say, an alternative act is coming through. So it doesn't even need to be metal. It just needs to be not pop or country. And that was under some guide of essentially... we don't know how the audience is going to be. You know, people get into fights. Metal's not a fun genre. Who even comes out to these shows anyway? And when we found out about that, we're livid because we, as a Sydney band, are spoiled for shows. There's like 4 shows going on every Friday and Saturday night. It's insane. It's always popping off. But in Tamworth, man, they're lucky if they get one metal night a month. And so it's like, what do all those people who are into that kind of stuff do? You know, like, where's the support for them? And so as we were leading up to the show, ABC put out an article about it, being helping spread the word because Jack did an interview about it. And then Kill Your Stereo also picked it up. And so, there's a bit of press about it. And so we're like, oh, this is kind of a bit, uncharted waters for us. We just wanted to play a show, and now we're in the crossfires of some political rivalry. But we were like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. So we were just like, okay, we'll kind of spark the match a bit. We'll see what goes. And so we put up a few reels being like, hey, come to this show, and because we genuinely were quite annoyed that the Tamworth Council was trying to get away with this, and about a week before the show, it came out that they'd actually reversed that really disgusting rule, which is really cool. But at the show, we didn't know this at the time, but after our set, we got told via a few people that there had been undercover cops during our set interrogating the lovely bloke venue manager. It's basically telling him, hey, why do you put these nights on? Nobody even comes here, even though we'd sold the place out and it was a packed room. These people look like they're going to kill each other. Just all this really bizarre comments that just seem like something from like a 90s movie in a parody sense. Like, it felt like they were like those parents in the stereotypical movies. And it gets weirder, Kris, because afterwards, I know, right? Where does it end? They came up to me. The other guys had already left. I was hanging around, just having a bit of a boogie. They came up to me and they were like, "Hi, we're not undercover cops. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh, for real.
Yeah. So I was just there like, this is insane. But yeah, basically, even after Tamworth Council had overruled the rule, I don't know, man. It seems like the authorities weren't happy with that, and were basically trying to shut down the show while we were playing. It was a bit surreal because obviously this didn't happen in real time for us. We found out after the fact. It was just like it was just one of those, I'm forgetting the not the Bermuda Triangle. It's like that witching hour. I'm forgetting the name, but it's like that old show, black and white show where like crazy stuff happens. I'm forgetting the name. But it was kind of like that. It was just a bit, what's going on, man? This is just getting weirder and crazier. But like, full credit to the Tamworth community and the metalheads and everyone that comes out, the alternative community, because they are the loveliest people we have ever met, man. Like, they give their heart and their soul, and I am proud to say that a lot of them are now our friends. We've seen them come out for us a couple of times. We've had drinks, we've had a boogie, and quite honestly, man, it's one of the most fastest growing communities I've seen for alternative spaces in a long time. I think it is so overlooked, and I think it's disgusting that the council, and I think also somehow law enforcement, is trying to stamp out what could be a really important part of the community for young people, because the alternative there is to just hang out in the skate park, I think.
Yeah, great.
So like, I don't know, man. It baffles my mind. But that was how Tamworth went, dude. Pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Kind of crazy for our first ever headline. I'm not gonna lie. I was just kind of hoping to rock up, but we just rolled the punches.
Good on you, Ray. You would have learned a lot from that experience anyway.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. It was a fun time. Absolutely.
Yeah, all right, bro. Well, thanks very much for your time tonight, right? Broken Earth's new single, Breathe, is out now, and it's an absolute fucking ball terror, mate. So I look forward to hearing what you come up with next, and let me know if you make it up Brisbane way at all, bro. I'll come down and have a beer and check out.
Well, Kris, we've got your boys from Brisbane Headwreck coming up for our headliner in Sydney. So hopefully we'll be able to do a switcheroo and come back for them sometime. And yeah, absolutely. We'll have a beer. We'll catch up. Would love to catch in with you in person.